This segment is sponsored by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Cooper Barnes.
What's happening?
It's Tom Barnard from the Tom Barnard Podcast. My son, Andrew Barnard. My nephew, Sean Barnard. My wife and my daughter are not here today because they're coming back from Iceland, if you can believe it.
What?
What?
You know what? I was told that she would be here, and now you're changing the story.
Well, you know, her plane gets in about 5 hours. We could talk for about 5-6 hours if you want.
Well, what time is it in Reykjavik right now? Can we get her on Skype or something?
She's on the airplane right now.
Well, she's going to be responsible for the thing going down.
What we
You're
can
not
do...
supposed to be talking on your cell phone.
I know, well, that's exactly right. So what we could do like an interview now, and then when she gets back, we could have you on again.
That sounds good. Maybe you could patch something together in post.
We'll send you a script.
Fool the audience into thinking we were all committed to this time that we agreed to. That we're all professionals.
I want to start out this conversation with Cooper Barnes, our special guest here on the Tom Barnard Podcast. I love bios when they say things like, Cooper also had lead roles in several indie films, including Mushroom Pizza and The Guy Fucking Your Girlfriend.
Yeah, it sounds like Troy McClure from The Simpsons, doesn't it? Like, you may remember Cooper from such safety films as Lead, a tasty snack. You know, I have done a couple of doozies.
You know what? I missed my chance there because I used to do a lot of movie trailers. Back in the day, but I would have loved to have done the trailer for In a World Where There's a Guy Fucking Your Girlfriend. It would have been wonderful.
One man, another man. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that is actually yet to be released. That actually is a great little indie film that I just finished in December. That is. In post now, and I would love to see a trailer for that. I've not seen anything for it yet, but what I've seen in the ADR sessions has been pretty funny actually. There's not much to the story other than what is in the title.
Okay,
it's pretty self-explanatory. Just a couple of friends break into this dude's house that they're pretty sure is fucking one of the friends' girlfriend, and ruckus hilarity ensues when he turns out to be this giant black man, and they did not expect that. They thought he was going to be some dude they could easily take out. But yeah, that's the guy that's fucking your girlfriend. Coming soon. In a world where people will watch movies like that.
What rating do they have under that one?
Oh, that's G. That's family friendly. General audiences.
I want to tell you, I really thought you were tremendous in The Perfect Host.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
That's a hell of a good movie. It's a very unusual movie, wouldn't you agree?
It is a weird movie, yeah. And it was a weird role for David Hyde Pierce, but I thought he rocked it. I thought he was really good in it.
Oh, I thought he was fantastic, and I've always been a fan of David Hyde Pierce in any case. But if you would do a much better job of describing how that movie than I would. You end up, well, yeah. Why don't you pick up the ball?
Essentially, it's about a seemingly it's about a guy who's on the run from the cops.
Right.
He's performed a robbery and he's laying low, and he ends up hiding out in this guy's house. And this guy seems to be a nebbish, fairly harmless individual who's going to throw a dinner party, and he ends up being held hostage by this criminal in his own house. But then very soon you find out that the guy who's holding the dinner party is in fact not what he appears to be, and he's actually completely insane, and he has split personalities. He ends up turning the table on his, and he becomes the guy that's holding him hostage in his own house. And I play one of David Hyde Pierce's several crazy personalities. So I basically his imaginary friend, which was fun.
Well, the way it was,
because he and I got to figure out some little mannerisms and tics. Because I said, I want to be able to walk like you, and sort of like mimic some affectations that you do. And so he and I worked on a couple of things together, so that I would sort of represent a facet of his personality.
The way it was shot was brilliant, I thought. The way the movie was presented, the scenes which, what David Hyde Pierce thinks is going on and what is hostage, because the other guy's actually the hostage. What he thinks is going on, they're two completely different things. I thought it was very, very well done.
Yeah, I was happily surprised at how well it's caught on video, because it didn't have a large release, but I get people coming up to me all the time telling me that they saw it on Netflix, or they rented it and they loved it. It's got very much like a word of mouth following. So,
well, that's what I saw it. I saw it on Netflix myself, as a matter of fact. So it was a pleasant surprise.
It's the wave of the future.
It absolutely is. I mean, Arbitrage, a movie that's out right now with Richard Gere and Susan Sarandon. It's in the theaters now, but you can, of course, on either Netflix, Vudu is another place. I saw the movie before it was released to theaters, and I just, I got to be honest with you, Cooper, to be sitting in my house having a glass of wine watching a movie, I much prefer to somebody going, yo, what time you want me to come over after the movie? Like, God damn, will you shut up? I'll tell you the truth. This is a true story, Cooper. I'm a bigger guy. I'm in a theater a couple years ago seeing Mulholland
Falls?
No.
Mulholland Falls?
Or Mulholland Drive?
Mulholland Drive.
There it is.
Mulholland Drive.
Okay, so we're sitting in the theater, and these three guys keep talking on their cell phones. And you know how bright those things are in theaters.
Don't you love that?
So finally, I stood up and I said, shut your goddamn phones off. They threw me out of the theater.
What?
That's a true story. I was a rebel.
There's no justice in America.
I know, it's just terrible.
That ain't right.
I didn't even threaten them.
Yeah, you should have at least been able to threaten them.
It's our right.
You would have been able to sleep a lot better at night if you had at least pulled a knife on the guy.
Yeah, it would have been much, much
so
better.
you live and you learn, though. Next time, you'll come prepared.
Yes, I will. See, that was my mistake that I wasn't armed.
Yeah, come on, man. You know how it is. You go see a movie, you got to at least bring like a shiv or a Glock with you.
Oh, there's no question. So again, seeing Cooper Barnes and David Hyde Pierce in my house on my big screen TV, I'm much less likely to go to prison. You know what I'm saying?
Not like, it's far less likely. I mean, you still may be able to go to prison for something, but it's less likely. Yeah.
No question.
Well, that's what I'm here to do, man. I'm here to just keep you out of jail, and so anything I can do to chip into the cause,
are you
I'm happy to.
Someone told me you're a friend of Frank Caliendo's. Is that true?
A friend of Frank Caliendo?
I know you've worked.
He and I have worked together, but he and I have never shared a glass of wine and watched a movie. So no. He and I are acquaintances. I would say that's about as far as it goes.
The only reason I brought that up is because Frank is on the move so often. I've known Frank for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
But he's on the move constantly. It is very hard to be a friend of Frank Caliendo's.
Yeah, he seems to be working a lot. I met him when he had his show on TBS, Frank TV, and I did an episode of that with him where he played a I guess Tom Brokaw. He played Tom Brokaw if Tom Brokaw had been stung by bees.
Every one of his characters is like that.
Yeah, and I played a news reporter interviewing him, and it was an interesting experience. He definitely seems like a guy who's got like a lot on his plate. So it was a good show. I was glad to have gotten it because it was like one of the first. This was several years ago, so it was like one of the first TV gigs that I got. So it was pretty cool at the time. I was sorry to see that show go off the air because I thought he's a good, a really good impressionist.
Yeah, he does a very. Speaking of that, you're also a very, very good impressionist.
Oh, thank you.
I
think there are a few guys that can pull off being an impressionist or an impersonator without being categorized as schmaltzy or hacky. And I think like Caliendo is one of them, and I think of course the great Rich Little is another. But I am not at all on that level. Just every once in a while, something will come along. I'm like, oh yeah, I could pretend to be that guy. I guess.
See, I see it a different way. I think you're very, very good at it, actually.
Oh, shucks.
But I, Jesus Christ, Cooper.
What a guy.
See, that was Andy Griffith right there. Did you hear that?
No.
That's right. He's in the room with me. He lives with me. Did I not tell you that?
Part of what you...
Every morning I say, "Yo, Matlock, make me some pancakes." It's a great way to start the day.
No, when you talked a bit earlier in our conversation about talking to David Hyde Pierce about walking the way he walks, when you're doing, even if you're sitting in a chair doing an impression, you do that, the body language that you get totally into the character. I think you're very good at it.
You really have to. I mean, I feel that like when you're working on an impression, you got to incorporate your whole body into it, and that's why some impressions just don't work over the phone. Some of them really do. Like I was working on this Mitt Romney impression for this fundraiser, this political fundraiser show we did last week. It wasn't for Mitt Romney.
No.
But,
you're in Hollywood, for Christ's sake.
The Mitt Romney did make an appearance in the show, and I was playing him, and it was a tough one to get down.
Yeah.
And it's one that just does not work over the phone because he has just a very specific body language, and almost like most of the impression is actually in the body language. It's in the way he stands and the way that he moves, because he moves very mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
But then he has like little bursts of humanity that come out as well.
Bursts of humanity.
Yeah, like in spasms almost. Like as if like there's a glitch in his programming or something, and occasionally he'll come across as very charming, and then like boom. His prime directive kicks back in, and then he's back to like robot mode. But very little of it is in his voice, because his voice was tough to crack. But yeah, I feel like when you're working on an impression, you do have to bring all of those elements into it: the movement, the voice, of course, the little facial tics, and everything. So,
well, I just have to tell you that and I'm one of those kind of people, you're going to vote for Barack Obama, good for you, and whatever. I don't need to hear your reasons. I mean, all of them. Or you're going to vote for Mitt Romney. I don't really need to hear all of your reasons either. I really am not that interested. Good for you. You're going to vote for Romney. Good for you. You're going to vote for President Obama. Did you see what the hell's his name? Unsafe at Any Speed. He wrote Unsafe at Any Speed. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. He ran for president a couple of cycles ago.
Donald Trump?
No, not Donald Trump. The guy who he's a leftist activist.
Ralph Nader.
Ralph Nader. That's
Nader.
it. Yeah.
Very good. Did you see what he said?
No,
I missed it.
I am not making this up, but this is how nuts some people, politics makes some people. And again, I'm not talking about, on the left or on the right. I'm talking about all of them. That people.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole thing makes me sick. I actually stayed out of politics for the last 2 years.
Yeah, good.
Because I was very politically active for most of my 20s, and then I just had enough of it. By the time I got in my 30s, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this, because I find my life is a lot more enjoyable when I'm just not paying attention.
You don't want to be yelled at constantly because you're never going to be right. So
yeah, exactly, and you seem to enjoy your life a lot more if you're not involved in it. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. What did Ralph Nader say
today? You can pick up today's newspaper, and I'm not kidding. He said that President Barack Obama is a war criminal.
What?
He's a much worse war criminal than George W. Bush is or was, but he's still a better choice for president than Romney.
Does that guy know how to make a sale or what?
Is that unbelievable? A war criminal.
Vote for my war criminal.
the lesser of two war criminals.
Yeah, his argument was the drone system. We have many more drones now than we used to have. So we're not observing national boundaries, and therefore he's a war criminal. But he's still a better war criminal than Romney. So vote for. It's like, are you insane?
This November, you have the choice between two murderers. But this guy only killed 9 people. Look for our guy.
I know. Well, and that's exactly it.
Well, that's very funny. No, I have not heard that. It seems we're living in an age of people just saying dumb shit.
Oh God!
You notice that? Like, I can't remember the last time I heard a smart political quote. Either that, or we're just drawn now to the stuff that makes waves. there's probably a lot of really smart stuff being said, but we just don't hear about it because nobody cares.
Well, because of social media, I think that somebody says something stupid and it gets posted on a social media site and goes viral, and suddenly 1 million people have seen it.
Yeah, thanks to Twitter.
Oh, Twitter's
Thanks,
huge.
Twitter, really contributing.
Thank you.
This is what I tell people. They're like, "Hey, are you on Twitter?" I'm like, I am on Twitter, but if you want to follow me, I'll be on the sidewalk." So
Yeah.
you can just follow me on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
And eventually you'll end up going back to my house, probably.
Cooper, my favorite tweet, basically, it's become that way. I talk about this quite often, why people follow you on Facebook or Twitter when they don't like you. I don't understand that.
I don't get that either.
So basically what I tweet most often is, get the fuck off my Twitter page. And again,
That was you?
yeah,
That's retweeted all the time.
Come on, man. I thought we were going to be friends. First you send your wife to Iceland, now you're telling me to fuck off.
Not you, Cooper. Not you at all.
Okay. Thank you.
The following is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured, contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget, and now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Brian Thiel, president of Abrasives of St. Paul.
What I like best about North American Banking Company is the small town feel with great products and very good service, and I love the people. I would definitely recommend North American to other business owners. A lot of banks I could choose from, and North American Banking Company is the one.
So why not bank where I bank, with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. That's nabanco.com, or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My wife and I were sitting around. How many videos do you have up on YouTube? Well, the internet.
I don't know. On the whole internet? Oh, Tom, there's thousands.
There got to be 1,000.
But my comedy group, Frog Island, we have, I want to say about 40, probably about 40. And because we just released a web series, actually, earlier this summer that we're trying to push, called Pacino and Pacino Talent Agency.
Right.
And so with that, we probably have about 40 videos up on YouTube.
Well, that was Pacino and Pacino Talent Agency was purchased, wasn't it? You sold that, didn't you?
We sold it to Adam.com, which was Comedy Central's new media platform. We sold it to them last year.
Really?
And then but they only aired. We only sold them half the series. They had kind of this agreement where they're like, "Here, we're going to buy the first half, and then if it does well, we'll buy the second half." And it did well, and then they went out of business.
Oh, okay.
So, they actually took, I don't know if they went out of business as much as they just took down Adam.com and they replaced it with a totally different, like, Comedy Central website. So Pacino and Pacino in its entirety was launched on our YouTube channel this year. And I tell people, like, hey, we have a YouTube channel, and people are like, yeah, my nephew's got a YouTube channel. Fuck yourself. Like, yeah, he's got a video of him whacking himself in the face with a shovel. He's got like 9 million hits. You don't impress me. But I think what a lot of people don't know, I think people like who work in the industry know this, but I don't know if everyone else knows that you can actually make a living on YouTube, and a lot of people have content, on these big partnership channels, and we're one of them. And so we release a lot of funny videos, and they're out there for people to see on youtube.com/Frog Island Flicks. That's my shameless plug.
We'll put a link to it on our site as well.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does this show air live, or does it air?
No, it'll be down. It'll be uploaded tonight, probably around about 5:30 this afternoon.
Okay. The reason I ask is we're releasing a new video tomorrow. So depending on when people hear this, it'll either be up or it'll be still in post and up soon. But we're releasing a new video right now that, speaking of politics, is politically themed, but it doesn't really take a stance one way or another. Mm-hmm. It's a vice presidential debate sketch between Biden and Paul Ryan.
Oh, God.
But due to some horrible glitch or due to some horrible oversight on the part of the Presidential Debates Commission, HLN is covering it, and so Nancy Grace is the moderator.
Oh, God.
And as you can imagine, she's horribly unprofessional.
Well, she usually is.
And my teammate Liz Stewart does this awesome Nancy Grace sketch, and that's one. She does this awesome Nancy Grace impression, and that's one that I directed. So that'll be up within the next 48 hours, so people can check it out.
The name of that video is what?
I think we're just going to call it Nancy Grace moderates the vice presidential debates.
It's very creative.
It's a creative title, kind of like the guy that's fucking your girlfriend.
Kind of like that, exactly.
What's it about?
We're living in a day and age where people, they don't understand what's going on, so you got to spell it out for them.
Well, and you have to worry about how they're going to Google search you or search you in YouTube. So everything's got to be as logical as possible with the tag.
It's got to be really dumbed down. I had an audition yesterday for what's that show? This joke is going really well already. How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
and I was talking to my dad about it, and he goes, "What's that show about?" I said, "Well, basically, Dad, the show is about the circumstances surrounding the meeting of the parents of the kid that's being talked to. That's what the show's about. But they called it How I Met Your Mother because they thought that would be simpler.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some people just they need to have it kind of spelled out for them.
Yeah, and actually, I have a friend, Brian Callen, a friend of the family's, that was on it a couple of times. He had a ball. So.
Yeah, I just heard. I heard the podcast where you had him on.
Oh, you listened to it? Well, thank you for listening to it. So you actually
my homework.
You listened to it, and you said, "Well, fuck that. I'm not being on that."
Reluctantly, he's on.
Brian is one of the smartest guys out there. There's no doubt about it. Very bright guy. Do people bother you? Because it's kind of weird in that you've been to Minnesota, Cooper.
I beg your pardon?
Have you ever been to Minnesota?
I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I was there for a theater conference actually.
Okay, well, I grew up in the city, so Minnesotans outside the city have this accent, which you saw the movie Fargo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that accent actually exists in the state of Minnesota, but not in the city. It's out, in the country. So
the rural aspects of the
yeah.
state.
So I grew up being able to imitate black people because, and by that I mean like Muhammad Ali and people like that. I cannot to this day do an impression of a Minnesotan. I can't.
Really?
I just can't do it. I don't know. It's just not the way my brain is wired.
I think the TV show Bobby's World is what was responsible for my generation being able to do the Minnesota accent.
Oh, yeah.
There was a short-lived animated show called Bobby's World, and the mom just talked like this, and that's just how she talked. And so, Bobby, come here and get your lunch, okay? Because you got to go to school. And I think that's why so many people my age can do that. It's because of that cartoon.
See, unfortunately for me, if I try to do it, it sounds more like everybody's talking about Joe Frazier. but
I'm pretty. I'm so pretty.
I'm so pretty. One of the greatest things.
I got to ask you a question. You got a lot of comedians on your show, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had either Larry the Cable Guy or Gilbert Gottfried on?
Gilbert is coming on. As a matter of fact, the next two. I should call Larry the Cable Guy. Like I said, I've been doing this morning show at KQRS for 27 years. Larry the Cable Guy's wife used to work for me on the KQRS morning show.
Oh,
so
yeah?
I should probably have him on. It's
because I was just wondering because I mean, like I was in the dollar store buying props for a sketch the other day, and I saw this box of Larry the Cable Guy brand fish batter, and on the cut, it's just like a box of like shitty dollar priced fish batter, and there's just a picture of him with his sleeves cut off, and he's like, "That's good fish batter." So and I was like, I realized, because that's not his real voice, like that's a character.
No, right.
Like his real name is Dan something, and he's from Connecticut, and I thought like. Wow, like it's got a like that kind of commitment, and the same thing with Gilbert Gottfried, because that's not his real voice either. That's just like a character he came up with. But I was thinking, I like Gilbert Gottfried. I think he's funny, but I was thinking like, man, it's gotta suck to be him because he's got to do that fucking voice like everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah, he's
got to commit to that. Like he can't even go to Ralph's and without someone being like, oh, hey, it's Gilbert Gottfried. Paper or plastic? Plastic. I'm sorry, what? Oh, for Christ's sake. Plastic! I want a plastic bag! Gilbert Gottfried wants a fucking plastic bag! Whose dick do I gotta suck to get a fucking plastic bag?
We gotta play that for him when he's on the show.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I actually, when he last appeared on the KQRS morning show, my sidekick on there, the female on there, actually asked him to do the Aflac duck, and of course he was fired.
Yeah,
for the tweets about Japan, and I can't do the impression like you can, but he said, "Yes, because it's so different from my real voice." Honest to God, it's like, yeah, Aflac. You just say the word Aflac. How old were you?
Yeah, you can't not do the voice when you say Aflac.
Yeah, that's true. You have to be able to say that's very true. Your first impressions. You talked about Bobby's World, leading you down the Minnesota, learning how to do the Minnesota accent. Do you remember who your first impression was?
I think my very first impression was Ronald Reagan when I was about 5.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah, because like everybody, obviously he was the guy at the time, and everybody was talking about him, and I was like, who, he was just sort of this old man that was on TV all the time, and I didn't know who he was.
Right.
And then one day my mom was like, "That's the president," and I just found myself doing this kind of almost a Jack Nicholson impression. When you're a kid and you're doing impressions and your voice hasn't broken yet, like they all kind of are at the same register. So like when I would do Jack Nicholson, he would sound like this. And when I would do Ronald Reagan, he would sound like this. I'm Ronald Reagan. And so I think that was the first impression I did. I remember being 6 years old and doing my Reagan impression in a Pizza Hut at a birthday party for my friends, and all their moms thought it was hilarious, and all the kids were like, "Who the hell is that?" And I'm like, "He's the old guy on TV," and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, gotcha."
And they still didn't know who the hell you were talking about. But you could also do the movie phone guy using that same voice.
Yeah, I would think it would be really. I always wanted to see a situation where the movie phone guy would get fired and he'd have to do like a phone sex line, and he'd be like, "If you want me to touch your balls, press 5. If you want me to tickle your taint, press 9."
That's very good.
The fucking movie phone guy.
It is amazing.
Go ahead.
No, you're the guest. Go ahead, sir.
No. I was just going to say that I was reading. We're talking about impressions. I was reading earlier today. Do you hear about what's going on with Morgan Freeman?
That he married his granddaughter or something?
Yeah, well, he didn't. Like, that's the thing is, like, he... first of all, they said he was dead.
Right.
Like, all this crazy shit's been going on with Morgan Freeman this week. Like, they said he was dead, and then he came out and was like, "I'm not dead." But then apparently they broke the story that he was stripping his own granddaughter, and he was going to marry his granddaughter, and
right.
And I guess he came out and denied it. But I was like, oh no, that would be so hilarious if that was actually true, because then he would have to come out and like make an announcement about it. You can't just be like walking around marrying your own granddaughter and not say something about it.
Sure.
And I was really looking forward to that being true, because I had this whole this whole bit prepared where he'd come forward and he'd be like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You may know me from stage and the screen. listening to my smooth, silky voice. But what you may not know is that I, Morgan Freeman, have been having a sexual relationship with my own granddaughter. And while many of you may think this is both disgusting and gross, for me, well, it's pretty damn sweet. Because after all, she is 50 years younger than me, but I am tapping that ass. And so, in honor of what may very well be the highlight of my career, I would like to read you this list of brand new Morgan Freeman movies. Number 1, Lean on Me in the Shower. Number 2, Driving Miss Daisy's Grandkids. Number 3, I'm a Star Dating Kids.
That's my favorite.
Number 4, Gone Baby Gone to Morgan Freeman's Basement. Number 5, The Fuck It List. Number 6, Deep Impact into a 6th Grader. Number 7, Along Came a Spider, and I also came on an 8-year-old. And lastly, $1 Million Baby that I'm going to have sex with eventually. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's not, now he's denying it. It's not actually happening. Shit.
Well,
you can't do that bit.
You'll have a chance to bounce back. It's not a problem. But even keep it. I appreciate the fact that you actually did listen to the podcast before you came on. One of the problems, we just started doing the podcast a few weeks ago, and everybody in the world's got a goddamn podcast. There's no question about that. But
yeah, it's like the kid that hits himself with his shovel on YouTube.
Yes, that's exactly right. But people like you take the time to actually listen to it and go, well, this guy's not a total asshole, so I could go on and do that.
Not a total asshole, but
he's an asshole, but he's not a total asshole. But I do appreciate that.
Honestly, when I was listening to it, I was like, well, this guy's kind of but his wife's nice.
Well, yeah.
At least I'll get a chance to talk to her.
My wife was much nicer than me. There's no question. Actually, she was not on the Brian Callen one because she was already in Iceland.
We're going to put her on in post-production, like you said. She'll love the Morgan Freeman bit.
That's pretty cool that you got your whole family involved in this. That's great.
I do. I love that, the whole aspect of it. Oh, you know who was on with Brian Callen was Courtney Sherman. You know Courtney at all?
Oh, man, I don't know. No. Although her name's familiar.
She's very new on the comedy scene, a very pretty young lady, smart as hell. You will definitely, if you get a chance to meet her, definitely introduce yourself. She's wonderful.
Okay.
I have to ask you a question now. I consider, where would you rate your Pacino?
My Pacino?
Yes.
I'm proud of my Pacino.
You should be, because I think it's among the best. There are only a couple that can actually do it, because you don't overdo it.
I'm going to take that compliment and run with it. I feel like mine is way over the top, but
really?
if you think so.
I just love the fact that you don't lean on hoo-ah a lot.
Right.
Yeah, which I appreciate, because most guys are going to do Pacino, they're going to say hoo-ah about every other sentence, and then I'm going to want to punch him in the fucking face.
I just wish that you'd see Pacino doing like an animated film, and I think there's a reason why he hasn't. And I think it's because his voice would just terrify children.
Yes.
You'd never see him like in a Pixar movie, like playing like a bunny rabbit or something. No. Where it's like, "Hey, look at me, I'm a bunny rabbit. Hoppity hop. Give me some fucking carrots, yeah." It would just kids would just start crying.
And there's no question about it. Too scary.
Give me some fucking carrots.
Give me some fucking carrots. I want some fucking carrots.
Who's got some lettuce? Let's eat some lettuce, yeah. I was really excited for. Have you seen this trailer for Stand Up Guys?
No.
There's this new movie coming out, and this is not a joke. This is a real movie, and it's Al Pacino and Christopher Walken in it together, and they play best friends who used to be like mob enforcers, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And Pacino just gets out of prison after serving a very extended prison sentence, and Walken plays his best friend who comes to pick him up from jail that day, and also is given the task of having to kill Pacino. So he's like, "Hey, you're out of jail. Bad news. I gotta kill you now." And Pacino's like, "Well, hey, if it's gotta be anybody, I'm glad it's you. Now let's party. And then, like, it's just like a day in the life of these two guys, like, living it up before one of them eventually has to pop the other one.
I want to see
And I'm like, this is the best movie ever. When does this shit come out?
And when does it come out?
It comes out sometime in 2013, but the trailer just hit this week. But my comedy group and I were thinking about doing a parody called Stand-Up Comedy Guys. And it would basically just be the two of them just telling jokes badly.
We're going to put and it's Frog Island. What's the
name of the group is Frog Island, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Frog Island Flicks.
Frog
and
Island
we have,
Flicks.
like I said, about 40 of our little flicks up there for people to watch.
Cooper, come back very soon. You've been very funny and a great guest. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure.
When my wife gets back, we'll talk to you.
Yeah, please do, because come on.
Come on. Not a total asshole, but an asshole anyway, you know. Cooper Barnes, ladies and gentlemen.
The following is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured, contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. For Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong. But suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing, and people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Mr. Gallagher, how are you? This is Tom Barnard from the Tom Barnard Podcast, along with my son Andy and my nephew Sean.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm wonderful. What a better day to have you on than they haven't been arrested yet, but the officials should be arrested and maybe given a second chance in the NFL. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, you are so on target with that.
It's just unbelievable, this whole situation. Well, in the offseason, of course, one of our star players, Adrian Peterson, was arrested. That case hasn't even come to court yet, though, has it?
No.
Right.
I don't think it has. I mean, you talk about your Plaxico Burrs. What I want to do, by the way, is move to Manhattan and then carry a gun around with me and shoot myself in the leg. Chuck, we got to start. We're talking to Chuck Gallagher, nationally known motivational speaker and author of Second Chances, Transforming Adversity into Opportunity, which many people do with their lives, and they somehow figure it out. They start in a situation that maybe is not the best circumstances, and really turn it around and using that to make their lives better as they go along. But some people just don't really seem to understand that, I guess.
A lot of people do the opposite, too.
Yeah, that's true. So, our guest, Chuck Gallagher. So, Chuck, I mean, I don't even know where to start because obviously Michael Vick's a big name in this particular. I saw a TV show about Michael Vick. I don't know when it was first broadcast. It was a rerun of it, but it's interesting. Even the people that came to his defense, the people that said, well, there was the Atlanta Michael Vick, and now there's a Philadelphia Michael Vick. But I just don't know. I don't know if the guy can. Even the people defending him said, I don't know if he can pull this off or not.
Well, it's challenging for anybody to pull it off. And in Vic's case, probably one of the most obvious things is the time frame. I mean, you commit the crime, you do what you do. All of a sudden, you find out, oh my goodness, as if he didn't know, this is like illegal and perhaps immoral. Spends time in Leavenworth and then comes back within a fairly short period of time, almost back to where he was. Mm-hmm. And it creates a challenge because there's not a lot of time to be able to determine, did you get it?
Right.
And that's probably one of the keys with second chances is having that time to really find out at a deep level, did you get it?
Yeah, it's the. By the way, I didn't. I guess I wasn't paying attention for that particular part. But when I saw this TV special about the Michael Vick situation, why did they send him to Leavenworth?
Well, let me say this. It sounds a whole lot worse than what it really is.
Oh, okay.
Leavenworth sounds bad because it's a max security prison, but it also happens to have medium and minimum security. So he was at Leavenworth, which sounds bad, but the good side was it was really a minimum security facility. So he could have been in Pensacola, although that is not an easy place to be. Some people say it's club fed. I just suggest they try it for a while, and they'll find out how, well, it is a club, so to speak, because you're in federal prison. But outside of that, there's no creature comforts of home, for sure.
Well, what's interesting, having grown up in an urban neighborhood myself, I have the opportunity, I'll call it an opportunity, to visit some high school friends and buddies who are in state and federal prison.
Right.
Yeah, going to, even in minimum security in the state of Minnesota, Stillwater is one of the state prisons here in Minnesota. Even in minimum security, when you walk in there, just the fact that you're in their presence, the inmates will challenge you even though you're just a visitor. Like they'll do things like when you're walking by, they'll push their chair back so you can't get past them. And if you don't push their chair back in for them, get them out of your way, they will look at you as a complete candy ass and you got problems.
True.
And people, I don't think people realize that okay, you're in prison now, and it's just we're going to sit around and watch. Well, I did hear one guy, Chuck. You've seen the show Sons of Anarchy?
I have.
One guy said to his girlfriend, of course she was there with their 85 kids that they have, but he's in prison. But he says to her, "Baby, I got to go upstairs now. My favorite show is on." And she said, "What show is that?" And he said, "The Sons of Anarchy." So that's who we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's a different world, and again, not one that I would recommend people test. It's not pleasant, but the question really, when you're there, becomes, do you get it? Is it just time? And, okay, so I've got 18 months or whatever the sentence time happens to be, and I'm going to get out and I will get back to life. So it's an extended vacation, as some people would call it, or do you really get something out of the experience so that you can truly transform your life?
So a question I'd have for you, because you would have knowledge of this. Again, we're talking to Chuck Gallagher, author of Second Chances, Transforming Adversity into Opportunity. One of the problems I see for these guys, and again, it's just from having grown up where I grew up, when they do get out of prison, they're still in the NFL. And if you're in the NFL, you have to prove to all the other guys in the NFL what a tough guy you are, and you're a man's man, and your pussy ass just got out of prison, you got caught committing a crime, and they consider you, in a way, a punk.
Right.
So how do they deal with that on it? Because they got to get some ridicule in the locker room, I have to believe.
Well, you know they do. You know they do, and you know that you're in a testosterone-rich environment. It's not unlike being in prison, in that there's this element of kind of proving yourself. And for whomever has been there, when we started with Michael Vick, but there's a host of others.
Right.
But for whomever has been there, the issue is, well, when I get out, can I do what I do in the NFL and do it well, and yet at the same time find within myself the peace of knowing that, you know, I made mistakes. I can't forget the mistakes I've made, but I can do something different with my life. And it's a challenge, especially if you happen to be a sports star and you get the opportunity to go back to doing what you did. That doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
It's just more of a challenge.
I must believe also that when they go around the league to the different stadiums around the United States, people might want to mention. They probably mention it to them from the stands, I would imagine.
Oh, you know, absolutely.
And hold up nice signs too that
Hold
they
up
make it up.
very pleasant signs about your prison life and how you were a woman in prison or so. The amazing things that I've heard people shout out during baseball games, football games, basketball, it doesn't matter what the sport is. Fans will say the cruelest things to these players. I don't know how you deal with that, having just gotten out of prison, and you're trying to stay on the straight and narrow, but these people are flat out cruel to these players.
Well, they are. But here's the funny thing. And when I say funny, I don't mean, you know, laughable funny, but the ironic thing. And I've found this in life, whether it's, you know, the folks in the sports stands or wherever, the people who have the greatest inclination to point a finger have three fingers pointing back at them, and there is a good chance they're trying to hide something in their life that they could use a second chance from themselves.
Yes. No, there's no question about that. A lot of people, I would assume also, because when you're released from prison, a guy like Michael Vick or Plaxico Burress or whomever is going to be given community service duties, community service work to do. And, of course, the average person out there, the average fan out there is going, well, he's only doing that because he has to. And yet I believe Michael Vick does twice as much as he was told to do. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so he is out there giving his own time doing community service work, helping the public in other ways. But a lot of people just this whole thing is about gaining the public's forgiveness. How does the public forgive? How do they forget this all about? I'm talking about me as just a fan now out in the public. How do I get away from going, God, you're a moron. You had it made. You were making $100 million, and you threw it away over some macho bullshit, basically.
Right.
So how do I tell myself, I can, this guy's my hero again? Chuck, for one, I don't know if I could ever forgive Tiger Woods for what he did, just because I don't hang around with guys who cheat on their wives, because I figure if they're going to screw their wife over, they're going to screw me over.
Right.
So I have a tough time forgiving people like this. How do I do that?
Well, here's the question for you. Kind of back is, well, how do I forgive? Well, part of it is time. Part of it is you've come along, or I've come along. Let me just use myself as an example. I came along and I broke trust. What did Michael Vick do? He really broke trust.
Right.
That he was a good guy because he was doing bad things. Tiger Woods, same thing. Different scenario in terms of what he did, but he broke trust with his wife and with the public in general. And, when you break trust, there's the possibility that you'll be forgiven. Nobody will ever forget it.
No.
So you first learn, don't worry about the fact that they will remember, because they will. But over time, if I do enough of the positive things and take responsibility for it, then over time, yes, I can be forgiven. Now, does it mean, however, I will ever regain my current glory? And the answer probably is no.
Right.
I mean, Tiger Woods probably will never, ever be held in the esteem in the public's mind or in the golf world that he was.
No.
Now, does it make him a bad golfer? No, he's still a good golfer.
Mm-hmm.
There are other people that are certainly challenging him and have done a pretty good job of it, quite frankly.
Yes.
But he's still a good golfer. He's also shown that he's a human being.
Right.
And so if I can find it within myself to not necessarily forget, but forgive, and at least give him the opportunity for that second chance to show that, you know what, I screwed up, that was bad, I need to do something different, I need to make a different set of choices. Well, over time, if he does make a different set of choices, people can say, you know what, he screwed up, but look what he's doing now to bring value to society. And the people that are sports figures have such a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, no question about that. On a very personal level, I want to tell you a very quick story. I don't want to take up a lot of your time with it, but it's just because I have some personal A personal thing that happened to me, I could speak from. Many years ago, we had a public figure, a political figure in the state of Minnesota. There was I've been on the same morning show for 27 years in Minnesota. The KQRS morning show I've been on for 27 years. So, in the state of Minnesota, everybody knows who I am. Is the best way to put it. So I get in an argument with this politician on the air, right? So like every other human being, I think anyway, I said, oh, you know what? Drop dead. Just like that, right? You've heard people say that before, correct?
Sure.
39 days later, he died in a plane crash.
Ooh.
Okay. I now have people, and this is 10 years later, well, about 8 years later, I still have people who will never forgive me, even though I didn't say what they claim that I said to him. They quote me. They say that I said to him, I hope you die in a plane crash.
Right.
I never said that. That's not what I said at all. Like anybody else, drop dead, get lost. It's the same as saying get lost.
Right.
But there was a viral email campaign right after that in the millions about what a jerk I was and how I should, end up in prison for what I said, and it was way out of line, and blah, blah, blah. There are people to this day that will never forgive me for that, even though I didn't do what they think I did.
Right.
So these guys in the NFL have much more pressure on them. They're much more, they're international, maybe not international public, but certainly national figures, world-class athletes. Many, many more millions of people know them than know me. But I could tell you from personal experience, I've been battling this thing for 8 years now.
Well, your example is really a perfect example because you almost, once you made a choice to do whatever. In your case, something really, really very simple that actually had a negative, ironic consequence.
Mm-hmm.
The consequence went further for you because people still don't forget and they still want to hold you accountable for, I guess, this politician's death, or at least the comments that led up to it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, somewhere within us, if that's happened to you or my experience of having created a Ponzi scheme or Tiger Woods' experience of being unfaithful to his wife, at some point you have to recognize not everyone is going to put us back where we were, and not everybody is going to forgive us, and we have to then be okay with that. Because then it's their issue, not ours.
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point because I don't think I've taken the time to do that. It's like, well, that's your problem. Because I do still take it personally, and I guess I just shouldn't.
Well, that was very different, though, Tom, I think, because it was a very innocent remark. It was, it was kind of off the cuff. It was a very quick, heated situation versus a Michael Vick or one of these other guys where what you really want to see in their situation is have they changed the behavior. You weren't doing something that needed behavioral change. You were doing something that it was a common, conversational statement that was made. So.
I got a letter, Chuck, from that was my nephew Sean, by the way. I got a letter signed by several people. I'm talking about a few thousand people that claim that George W. Bush and I brought down the airplane. Okay? So that's what we're dealing with. And that's another side of this thing I'd like to talk to you about is what about those way over-the-top nut jobs I got to believe that they think that Michael Vick is responsible for every death of every dog in the past 2,000 years.
Oh, there are. You and I both know that there are people out there who do not live in the land of reason and rationality.
Too many.
There's no doubt about it. And there are some guys, I grew up in an urban area, and I hope you don't mind a little. I know this is a podcast, and you use whatever language you want, but I usually let the guest kind of lead the way on that. But in order to tell you,
not a problem on my end, trust me.
Okay, well, I just want to tell you a quick story about a guy from New Jersey that I know. He's telling me a story, and he's totally serious. Now we're trying to bring the criminal mind into it as well, right? And he talks like this. He says, Tommy, I didn't understand a fucking thing about how the fucking law works. I was in New York, in this city in New York, and I met this broad, and I said, why don't we go back to Jersey, to my house? Well, she didn't want to go to Jersey, but I drove over there anyway. And you know what I found out? That's fucking kidnapping. It's like, yeah, if you take somebody across state lines against their will, that would be kidnapping, pal. And I don't think Plaxico Burress understood that law any better than my friend understood that law.
Right.
It's against the law, Plaxico. You can't do that.
Yeah, there are some folks out there that honestly, they honestly don't get it. You're telling me that the guy that was looking at kidnapping. I'll give you a simple side story. There was a fellow that I knew in prison. His name was Henry. Nice guy. I mean, really, really nice fellow. Had a young child whenever he was sentenced to prison, 5 years. But the story short is, his sister's boyfriend, I could care less who these people are, asked Henry where he could buy drugs. What happened, the boyfriend got busted.
Oh.
The Fed said to him, you turn us in, you give us names, give us information, and we'll reduce your sentence. Ask Henry, where can I buy drugs? Henry says, don't use them, don't know, leave me. Second time, same thing. Don't use them, don't know, leave me. Third time, Henry says, get out of my face. I don't ever do drugs. When I was in high school, John Doe was the guy that was known to do drugs. Why don't you talk to him? Quit talking to me.
Yeah.
Simple. Well, he turned in John Doe. No problem. Arrested. Helped this guy, the snitch. But it also turned in Henry because now he had conspiracy to sell drugs.
Oh,
because if you tell somebody where you can get something illegal, it's conspiracy.
Yeah.
So there are so many people that can get caught up in stuff they don't even know has a connection to, a choice and a consequence that could take place. And yet the reality of it is, by golly, they do.
And now we're dealing with, again, to kind of circle back to the NFL, we're talking about guys throughout the NFL and most major league sports, probably not your best high school and college scholars. A lot of these guys have been, since they were 6-7 years old, told how wonderful they are. Didn't really have to do their book learning, as they say in the South. So are they that naive, Chuck? Are most of your NFL players really naive in a way?
Well, I think there's a certain naivete, and yeah, I think they are. The fact is, you come along, and as a kid, if you've been a sports leader, you've got real talent in that area, and people keep talking to you. Most of the time, keep in mind, the adults talking to we'll call them the young NFLers, so to speak, are touting how wonderful they are and keeping them focused because they realize, the adults, that's their ticket to a new house or to a new car or to a different lifestyle. So, yeah, they keep them kind of naive. And when you run in those circles, there's a part of you that gets to feeling you're invincible.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well answered, because that was my feeling. You are absolutely invincible. You can do things, even if you think, well, this might not be right, this might not be legal. Hey, it's me. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Vince Young right now out of the NFL, and he's flat broke. He spent $25 million.
Oh. Right.
And that's part of that naivete that I think we're talking about here is like, I'm Vince Young. I was drafted, I think second overall in the NFL draft. Isn't that right? I believe it was second overall. He is not even in the league any longer, cut because a very, very mediocre backup quarterback who used to play for Minnesota took his place in Buffalo, New York.
Right.
And I guarantee you today that Vince Young is sitting there going, what the hell happened? I'm not who I thought I was, and it's too late to make a difference.
Right.
So what is
you come along and you think that everything's perfect in the world, nothing's going to change. I'm invincible. Look at me. And the reality is the world will ultimately share with you the fact of who you are. If you look at it at a deep, deep level, we all here on this earth learn something, and we're all going to learn it different ways, and therefore we're going to have experiences that will help us get that. The question becomes, when we have the experience, what do we do with it?
Right, exactly. We're talking to Chuck Gallagher. His book is called Second Chances, Transforming Adversity into Opportunity. I'd like to kind of take focus away from famous people, because obviously 99.9% of people listening to this podcast are citizens, right?
Sure.
I've often wondered how a guy, there was a local guy here I remember several years ago. I didn't know him. I've never met him, but he got in a situation where his friends told him, you're drinking way too much. You shouldn't drink so much. He's like, no, business is going great. I'm making a lot of money. I like to go out and have fun, and I got to schmooze clients, man. I got to schmooze a lot of clients. So, having cocktails is just part of it. Well, this guy, unfortunately, got behind the wheel and killed someone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you possibly come back from that? Because you're going to have to stay alive, I would assume.
Well, when you face something that is that traumatic, I'm going to say there's probably a lot of very deep soul searching that takes place, because at that point that it isn't about the money or about the dogs or whatever the crime happens to be, or even about the comment that was made on the air. This is something that was resulted in the loss of a life at your hand. And so, one, there's going to be deep soul searching, but then the question comes down to, and this does not diminish what happened. I don't want that to come across at all. But the question then comes to, okay, well, can I accept responsibility that, I was warned and warned and warned and told, and the outcome became something that was dramatically different than I ever expected, and now what can I do? Because if there's ever been a poster child in an adult setting who was on the fast lane and I have to schmooze clients, etc., if there's ever been a poster child to talk about the impact of the choices that you make, and drinking and driving, if you just want to leave it at a very simple level, that's the poster child for that. Will he ever forget it? No.
No.
Will he ever forgive himself? Maybe. But what can he do about it? How can he transform that adversity that he created for himself in his life and that took the life of another into something that can be meaningful for other people?
Oh, that's very, very good. Now, how do you, I should mention, by the way, this adds a bit to it. He was driving through road construction when he was drunk, and there were piles of dirt, and he launched his car up in the air over one of those piles of dirt, came through the windshield of an oncoming car, and the person he killed was a pregnant woman. So how can you get in your mind? See, because right now, I've never even had a DWI or anything like that, so I don't know how that feels, and I don't want to ever know how that feels. But how can I talk myself into, not one but two people died. One had no chance to even take their first breath on this earth. How can I possibly make that better?
Well, you can't for the people.
Right.
Let's just be candid. The pregnant woman that died, can you make it better for her? No. Can you make it better for that family? No. They've lost family members that will never be back, and that's a reality that they have to live with. But the question, and this is the hard thing, because this is, on your podcast, when people are listening to this, there are going to be some people that will absolutely revolt at what I'm going to say. But the question becomes, you cannot change what took place. In fact, let me put it to you this way. When my crime came to light, I considered suicide. And I talked with a gentleman, and I cannot tell you what the guy's name was because I don't know. But he said something profound to me that honestly was life-changing. He said, "Son, you've made a terrible mistake, but you are not a mistake."
Right.
And he followed with, "The choices that you make today will define your life in the future." So in the example you gave, he can't change what he did. He can never bring the people back. He can't rewind the tape, so to speak, and change his drinking and driving experience. But the choices that he makes today will define his life in the future. And from his life, can he bring some meaning to someone else? Can he pay it forward? Can he, at some point in time, for example, talking to a group of high school students before the prom, can he talk to them about the feeling that he had of drinking and how that made him feel good and how he felt like he was strong and powerful and that he could, lead his clients and then end up taking the life of this woman and her unborn child? Can he scare those students straight into thinking about, maybe I don't need to be drinking in order to have a good time. Maybe I don't need to make that choice.
That's a very good point. Now, I don't want to pry, Chuck, but I'm looking at your bio, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but you made reference to it. It says here you lost your first career after bad choices. That's something you use that experience to rebuild your life, career. You've had tremendous success in that whole situation. how severe were your bad choices? Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm very transparent. Back in the 80s, a long time ago, but back in the 80s, I was a very successful CPA. I was tax partner in a firm, testified before Congress, wrote articles, and taught in 30 different states. The career was great, but at the same time, there was a shadow side of me that had created what was now known as a Ponzi scheme.
Oh,
Frankly,
okay.
I didn't even know what that name was.
Right.
And so I really was a liar and a thief. Now, I didn't call myself that at the time because I didn't think that of myself at the time, but that's a reality check. And as a result of that, I, of course, lost everything. Eventually, I was able to make restitution. So the people that I stole money from got their money back plus interest. However, to be clear, that doesn't change the fact that I broke the trust and I stole money in the first place. So my life dramatically changed. And it really was starting over from a completely different perspective that has led to where I am today and writing the book and having the opportunity to talk with folks in various parts of the country.
Well, and all the more reason to read the book, Second Chances Transforming Adversity into Opportunity. I like that because people who've never been in trouble or have never said or done things they wish they hadn't said or done don't know what the hell they're talking about. You in your position, you obviously do, no question about it. Chuck, you've been a great guest. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
It is absolutely my pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, and maybe we'll get real lucky and we'll find that we won't be dealing with some of the referees and officials in the NFL that you've been dealing with lately. Huh?
No doubt about it.
Maybe those guys need to find a second chance in another career. And
Back to the lingerie league. Back to the lingerie league. Chuck, I hope we speak again very soon. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Chuck Gallagher. A portion of the profits of the Tom Barnard Podcast goes directly to the Smile Network. The Smile Network is a nonprofit organization that provides life-altering reconstructive surgeries and related health care services to impoverished children and young adults in developing countries. The Smile Network. Together we are constructing lives one bright, smiling face at a time. The Tom Barnard Podcast giving away $5,000 on October 11th. To one of our lucky listeners, we'll give a matching donation to the Smile Network. All you have to do to enter is go to our website, TomBarnardPodcast.com. Click on the banner or the Enter Now button. The contest promotes sharing the podcast through Facebook, Twitter, email, and more. We'll contact the winner of $5,000 on October 11th, and you'll be interviewed on the show. The 30-day giveaway of $5,000 at TomBarnardPodcast.com. Have a hell of a day.